The gold in this spot is absolutely insane. This spot is so good, I went live on YouTube to show people what it was like in real life to find this much in one hit. And my bucket of cons is full of gold. There's so much gold in there.
And I ain't stopping until I get every last little bit of it.
I was panning in the northeast of Victoria where I'd found a spot that was collecting a lot of glacial gold.
Every pan is loaded. This is what hunting gold on Reedy Creek is all about. Hundreds of specks in every pan. And by today's standards, that's actually a bad pan.
There's always two problems with gold. It tends to be mixed with too much dirt, and it's really hard to find anywhere that has a lot of it. The trick to figuring out the second problem is to go to places other people just don't want to go. And I'd found this spot well off the beaten track. So good luck finding it, shovel doggers.
That's what we're talking about, baby. Decayed bedrock and clay.
You gotta find you someone who's gonna look at you the same way I'm looking at that dirt. The solution to the first problem is a gold pan, or a sluice box, or a trommel, or a night dredge. With a comfortable rock worming its way up my butt crack, it was time to separate the gold from the dirt, which is honestly just a lot of shaking and a light fingering, whilst wishing you could wash away all your life's problems as easy as you could wash away the worthless rock. But you can't do that, so we continue to wash gold instead, which is sort of like counselling with more leeches. So essentially we've gone back to the 1800s, because if you've got bad feelings in the head, you must have witches in you. Witches aside, we were getting really good gold. I say we, me and all of my imaginary friends were getting great gold. And there were two reasons for that. One, no one had touched this spot in a really long time. And two, a lucky piece of geology.
Come on, baby. Big bucks. Big bucks. That's what I'm talking about. Little gold weighs real heavy once you get a lot of it.
I had already been at this for several hours early in the morning because it was getting bloody hot here in Australia. And so I'd already collected a lot more pans just like this.
This narrow little channel is jetting gold, gravel, black sands directly out into this area. And it opens up into a really wide section on an inside bend. Directly across here is a bedrock shelf that drops down over 1 meter. That's about 1 yard in freedom units. And in exactly the same way that the riffles in a pan help you retain gold, that bedrock shelf is retaining the gold in the creek for us. They just keep getting better. Every time I take dirt from a new spot behind that shelf, the gold gets even better. We're gonna have way north of a gram today with just a hand pan. The live stream will show you so much more than what I've shown you here, but for now, we've got to go back and clean it up because I want to know how much gold I got today. It looks wicked. We're on a bonanza city.
I filmed that video about 4 weeks ago. It was 40 degrees and I've done a lot of prospecting since then. And, well... I literally don't know which bucket it is. I don't... Help. I am fairly certain that I didn't find an agate that day, which means that any of these ones that have agates in them are probably not the buckets I'm looking for, which leaves me with these couple of pans and 2 more in my office. I think I worked it out. This bucket looks like it's got the right stuff in it. It's got shattered bedrock. This makes me need to pee every time I do it. The question I know you're all asking is, why do I have a fern in my garage? And that is because it's too hot outside for the fern to live anywhere else. So now it lives inside in one of my pay dirt tubs. I think it brings a nice ambiance to the garage. I shall now turn you from 24 to 110 volts. Oh! Underwhelming.
I can't do this without coffee. Less than 50% power. And you are not a real prospector. Until you have a shovel spoon. Isn't that right, beautiful? Oh, we're gonna put up that wood. Oh, as if a shovel. Much confusion was about to ensue, but I had no idea about that. I was just excited to see a little bit of gold coming out in the clean-out sluice. The cleanup was looking good. I was seeing plenty of gold, and the Sluicing 3000 was doing a great job of retaining it. But the more dirt I fed in, the more I had doubts. I knew this dirt was from the right spot. I was starting to suspect that it was from the wrong day. It looks good, doesn't it? I think it's the wrong cleanup. I think this is the third day that I went there, not the second. I don't know. I'll figure it out. Maybe. I got the last of the cons into the cleanup sluice and confirmed it definitely wasn't the right day. Alright, this looks still pretty good, but I think it was the wrong cleanup. I think it was. I'm really going to have to double check. It's the right dirt, but I did 3 sessions there. We digress. We're going to find out at a later date. For now, we'll clean this gold out. Maybe that'll learn me for keeping so many buckets in the shed. What should I do? A cons bucket giveaway? Yeah, this isn't it. This is when I knew the spot was finished, because that's all I got. There's a lot more than that. Hang on. I had to search my own Facebook feed to figure out which pan it was sitting in. I found it. It's this one. It was in a bucket, and then I took that bucket and I had to empty it into a pan so I could go out and get more dirt. Say what you want about me and my shed fern. Dirt life empire be hard, yo. And so I started the whole process all over again. And it was looking much better, more in line with the specs I was seeing in my pan when I was out prospecting. This is what I'm talking about. The first spot we run certainly was not the initial time that I found that spot. This run was the spot. Now that is some bloody good gold. There is easily going to be over a gram there, probably 2. It's actually not that hard to get this kind of result out of Reedy Creek, but usually you're using a high banker or maybe a river sluice. It's much rarer to get this kind of result with a pan. It's f***ing loaded! I love days like that. No one had touched that spot in so long. You're the kind of gold that might inspire someone's girlfriend to jump into me DMs. Time for a moment of real talk. All the gold you see me dig up and recover today is going into our pay dirt bag. So if you would like some pay dirt, this is not a robbery. If you would like some pay dirt, theoldmoldy.com.au is where it's at. There is always a level of apprehension pulling a mat like this. Imagine if I just dropped it all back into the black sand. Oh, baby. The best thing about being a gold prospector here is that I am the first person to ever hold this gold. And you, me, and about, I don't know, a couple thousand other people are the first people to actually see this ever. Oh, you got to go watch the live stream. The live stream will show you just how good it was. That's from about 4 hours panning. That's just panning. Yeah! The most tedious part is always finishing the cleanup. I usually use a hand pan like this. Sometimes I use a miller table, but hand panning tends to be the most accurate. And when it was all said and done, I had an amazing amount of gold from my little session on the creek. This was a phenomenal take of gold. Emperor Penguin for scale. Gold like this on Reedy Creek isn't actually all that uncommon, but it is difficult to access, and that is what makes it so special. If you're able to get into a spot that's collecting it, you're usually going to be up for a bonanza city. And any way you cut it, for a couple of hours panning on Reedy Creek, that is a great day. I know that everyone's here to see how much gold we actually got. Now that looks like 2.5 grams to me. I hope so, because it's $149 a gram. And $149 a gram was definitely going to allow me to keep my Lego habit going. We're at 1 gram, 1.5. We're going to do the 2, easy. There's our 2 grams. We've still got plenty left to go. What do you reckon it's going to be? I hope it's 2.5, because that would be a phenomenal take with just a pan. Well, there's our 2.5 and we've still got more. 2.97. I'm calling it 3 grams and there's nothing you can do about it. 3 grams for a few hours panning on Reedy Creek is just a phenomenal take. There is better out there, but usually you need a machine to get it. To be able to separate dirt and gold with nothing more than a pan and net over 450 Australian dollars is a good day's work.